Alright guys, so if you have found this video, that probably means that you are needing to do the 0 period credit recovery for Unit 1. So that means that you failed the Unit 1 test in Algebra, and what this will do is once you have finished the associated delta math with this Unit 1 recovery, then you can get that Unit 1 test grade as well as your Unit 1 formatives updated to a 70. So for a lot of you guys, that could do a lot to improve your grade. And so hopefully if you are here, that is what you are doing, okay? Now, if you're watching this video, that probably means you cannot come in person. On the Canvas course where you found this, I have also linked these notes. If you do have access to a printer, feel free to print these. If you do not, feel free to grab a scratch sheet of paper, whiteboard, whatever you got, and follow along with us, okay? All right, so here's what Unit 1 is covering. Okay, we got box plots, dot plots, histograms, measures of center and spread, mean, median, and mode, the 5-number summary, and then shapes of data. So in class, what we're covering is broken down in days. Okay, so it's broken down in days, and here are those topics. With those topics, I'm going to try to cover all of these at once. Okay, and so with me covering all of them at once, you will notice that these are like the day one labels for what we're covering in class. And it also tells you which part of these are covered in which part of the delta math. So the day one is covering the mean and median, interpreting box plots basic, and the more intense interpreting box plots. Okay, so I'll be doing all these at once, but feel free to pause the video and I'll tell you when to, and go and do the associated delta math with it. Okay. It will be helpful if you go ahead and have desmos.com/practice pulled up. And so this is what that should look like once you click on the graphing from the desmos.com/practice. Let me show you that. Desmos.com/practice takes you here. Click on graphing calculator, hit start practice, and then you should be exactly where I am. Okay, so let's get into it. So first, it says find the median and the mean of the data set below. Now, let's talk about how we can do that by hand to begin with. So, doing that by hand, what we'd have to do is we have 5 numbers and you need to write them in order. So my lowest number is 12, so I'm going to start with 12. My next number that was lowest was 22. Next, followed with a 26, 41, and then 49. Now, remember that the median is just defined as the middle number. Okay, so that's the middle number. And the mean is also known as the average. Okay, well, once we got them in order, we can find the middle. Look, there's 5 numbers. That means the third one is directly in the middle. You might in middle school remember crossing off on the edges, right? We got this one right in the middle. It is 26. That's the median. Now, for the mean, with that, all you got to do is add all these numbers up and divide by 5. So, take a second, go ahead and add those numbers up in a calculator, and we can go from there. All right, y'all gonna see me trying to add them in my head. I got 34 plus 26 is 60, 101, 150. That means after that all we've got to do is we need to divide that total number of 150 by the number of values we have. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So 150 divided by 5, and you end up with 30. So that should be our mean. Okay, so there's our mean. Now, let me show you another way you could have done that. If you go over to your Desmos, wherever you have that linked, here's mine, you can add in a table. Okay, so you hit this plus button right here, you hit table, and then you can just start typing your numbers in. So, with that, our first one was 22, then 12, then 26. I'm going to go ahead and type those in. 22, then 12, then 26. Then, after that, we had 49 and 41. Now, some really nice things that Desmos does is it can predict what you want. Okay, so check out this. I'm just going to type in stats. Okay, I typed in stats. I'm going to put in parentheses x1 because check out, that's how it's labeled. Look at all this nice stuff it gave me. It gave me the minimum, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the max. Okay. That's telling you the 5-number summary. There's 5 numbers right there, and it's summarizing the data, so it's called the 5-number summary, right? Okay. Now, some other things it can do. Let's see if it does this. If you find the mean of x1, means another word for average, it just calculated it for us. It's fairly magical, okay? So I don't know if your teacher in class has shown you that, but you can find you all of that within Desmos. So make Desmos work for you, okay? Now, this next problem that we do, if I can get my mouse, there we go. Let me clear all this. Right here is literally the same thing we just did. So I want you guys to take a shot at it. Go ahead and find the median and find the mean, and then unpause the video and we'll check. All right, hopefully you have tried it. If you did, hopefully you put these numbers in order: 16, 29, 37, and then 38. And you might have been like, wait, Mr. Waters, there is no middle number. The middle's like right there. Well, what you can do is you can add those two numbers up and find the halfway point between those two numbers. So halfway between 29 and 37, that's, let's see, 8 numbers apart. And so add 4 and you get 33. Now, if you're like, that is weird and abstract, I can't think about halfway between those. What you can do is you can just add the 2 up and divide by 2. So when you add those 2 up, I believe you get, let's see, 66, and then divide that by 2. And you end up with 33, so same value. Now, you might be like, Mr. Rice, you just showed us a good sheet on how to do this. Why would I ever do that? You're right. Plug that into Desmos, you'll get the same thing. In fact, I'm going to do that for the mean. Okay, so I'm going to change my numbers. It's now going to be 16, 29, 37, 38. I'll delete all these. And you'll notice that it starts getting rid of my values I have down there. And let's see if I can remember. It was 16, 29, 37, and 38. Okay, so that's what we had. Notice what it's giving us for the median. Should be 33 if we did it right. Yay. And the mean is 30. So we're all set on that. And that's how you can find the mean and the median within Desmos. Okay, so it's pretty nice. You might be remembering also that you did that in class as well, where you actually found those in your calculator by hitting data, then entering all of them, then hitting second data and running one var stats. That's also a totally legitimate way to do it. Feel free to do that. Okay? All right, moving along from mean and median. So, next thing we got are a couple of box plots. Okay? Now, the thing that we need to know is what in the world is a box plot. Okay? The box plot always has the 5-number summary. Now, with the 5-number summary, it has the minimum, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the maximum. Okay? Now, with that, I'm going to go ahead and label all of those on here. Then we'll get to what this question is actually asking. So this will be the minimum. Let's go to Q1. Right here in this line in the middle will be the median. This will be the Q3. This will be the max. Okay? So that's what they always are. They're always in that order on a box plot. The max, of course, is the highest number. The minimum is the lowest number. The median is the middle number. And think of these two quartiles as literally the medians of the lower half and the median of the upper half. So it's kind of like having 1/4. The median is kind of like having 2/4 or 1/2. Q3 is like having 3/4. And the max, of course, would be having your whole dollar. Minimum would be having no money. Right? So in this case, what it's asking us for is the value of the median. Okay, let's go to the median. Let's trace it down. Looks like the value is at 60. Box plots are that easy. Okay? Now, some other things that they could ask you on a box plot. Right? It says the box and whisker plot below represents some data set. What percentage of the data values are less than or equal to 82? All right. Think about money for a second. If you have 1/4, you have 25 cents. That means 1/4 is 25% of the way to $1. Okay? So here we'd be 0% above the minimum. Here would be 25% above. Here would be 50% above. Here would be 75% above. And here would be 100% above, right? Okay, so think about those values when you're thinking about a 5-number summary. Now, it wanted to know less than or equal to 82. Well, let's find 82 on our number line. So it appears that it's going by ones, because 6 again, 70, 71, 72. I'm going to go to 82, so be right in here. I'm going to trace that up, figure out what it is. You'll notice that that is chilling at the spot where Q3 is. Okay? Quartile 3, there are 75% below. Okay? And what that means in this problem is that 75% of the values are less than or equal to 82. Okay, so 75% of those values are less than or equal to 82. All right. Now, I told y'all that I was going to keep rolling in this video and try to get through as much as I can, and I will. But what I want y'all to notice now is that we're hitting the, let me clear that off, hitting the day 2 spot where we go into dot plots and histograms. What y'all can do now is you can pause the video and then go and do these sections on delta math. The ones that say find the mean and median, interpreting the box plot basic, and interpreting the box plot. If you were like, what in the world are you talking about delta math? Go watch the video that says how to access delta math. Okay, that's what it's titled. It is not the same delta math class that you have in your normal algebra class with either Crumb or Fish or Pew or Walk or whoever you have. Okay, it's not that same delta math class. It's a different one. So make sure to go watch that video so you know how to get into there. Okay, I'm going to get us into the day 2. It is about dot plots and histograms. Okay, the sections that you'll be able to do on delta math for it are the ones that are called interpret dot plot and interpret histogram / bar charts. Okay, now this one says the dot plot below represents the number of goals scored by the boys soccer team in every game so far this season. Then it says, what was the most common number of goals scored? So we know that this is measuring the number of goals down here, and it's asking what was the most common number of goals scored. Well, we need to figure out what the highest number of dots are, where that is, right? So 3 dots here, 3 dots here, 1 dot here, 0, 0. This one has 4 dots, right? Okay. Since it has 4 dots, that means they scored 3 goals in 4 games, and that is the most common. So we can say 3 goals was the most common because that happened in 4 games, and none of the other number of goals happened in more than 3. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's see if we can knock out this dot plot one as well before we take a break, pause the video. All right, clear my writing. And it says, the dot plot below represents the number of goals scored by the girls' soccer team in every game so far this season. So we've got another soccer problem. I think all these are about soccer. And it wants to know how many times did the team score 4 goals. Well, go to your spot that has 4 goals. You'll notice there's 2 dots above it. So that means in 2 games, they scored 4 goals. So let's go ahead and note that. I'll say in 2 games, in other words, 2 times. Okay. All right, and then let's go down to this next one, knock it out. We'll knock out all these dot plot ones, then we'll take a break, and I'll start you another video. This one says the dot plot below represents the number of goals scored by the boys soccer team in every game so far this season, and then asks a question of how many games have the students played. Well, what these dots are measuring, right, is the number of goals in a game. So that means we have to get the total number of dots we have here. So there's 2 dots here, 1 dot here, 3 dots here, 2, 2, 2. Let's just add them up. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So that means they have played in 12 games. All right, guys. So you're going to need to find the other video that will say Unit 1, 0 period Part 2. And we're going to pause this video for now, and y'all can join us back in that other video. All right. Thanks.